Welcome to the Quest for Wisdom podcast, where we search for nuggets of wisdom from the lives of some truly amazing people. Today we have Thijs Kramer, Secretary of Barcelona Lions Rugby Club, Rick Hibbert, President of Barcelona Lions Rugby Club, and Jack Grounds, Treasurer of Barcelona Lions Rugby Club, who are here today to talk to us about a fundraising adventure they are going on. Welcome everybody, how do you feel?
Very good, thanks.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome. So do you want to start? Let's start at the beginning. What are you doing and why?
Well, I think what the important thing to start with is kind of the background to the rugby club and the values we created, and this is kind of a follow-on to it, right? So we started the club 4 years ago. Basically wanted to do things our own way with our own values and make sure rugby was really about what we thought it was about. So about community, about brotherhood. And our brotherhood is really what happens beyond the field, and when one of you goes down, everyone steps up. And the cycle ride, because that's happened to two of our brothers, is really a follow-on to that. And I'll let Rick elaborate on that point.
Yeah, I think you've made the point, to be fair. I think we've all played for different clubs and been part of different clubs, and I think you take the good things from the experiences you've had. And I think all of us together, we're all quite different characters, but the crossover we have is the values we share. And I think a lot of what we're trying to put into the Barcelona Lions is the values that Groundsy spoke about. So I think, especially with the journey that we will talk about in a bit, I think, it marries up quite well, the values, why we're doing the trip. And I think that's kind of the point of the club, really. There's no mirrors and magic. It's all, we work pretty hard to make it quite a pure experience for everybody. We want everybody to feel like they're part of a family, part of a group of positive people that will look after each other. If there's any problems, any whatever it may be, then their mates step up. And that is, for me, for Groundsy, for Thijs, that's what rugby's about. It's not just the bravado and the macho and the chat, it's the action. And that's kind of what we've built, and part of what this journey's built on as well.
Thanks for that. So I feel like we're leaving people on a little bit of a cliffhanger, which I like, as we've not explained what the journey is or why. But Thijs, what are your thoughts on this before we move on to that?
No, I fully collaborate with what Rick and Groundsy said before. It's about values. And I think especially here in Barcelona as a rugby club, we all sort of felt there were maybe things missing, as in team spirit, family feeling. So with the Lions, it all comes together. And I think for a lot of people living in Barcelona, the Lions is almost like the closest they have to actual family. And what family does, you look after each other. And I think that's something is nice what Rick says. It's not about words. You have to show it, and that's why I think there's no better way to do it. Us three as founders of the club, stepping up and showing people what we're all about, because it's very easy to say so, but doing something, taking action, making a huge effort, that's the big thing. So that's why we're going to do the journey.
The mysterious trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know about other cities, but Barcelona is quite a difficult place to make friends. I think, when you arrive, you go and work somewhere, generally with people of your own language, in quite a secluded little section. And if your company's not that big, not going to be very many people there. Mm-hmm. If you don't play sport or do some sort of crafting or baking hobby or something like that, it's pretty hard to make friends. And I think men in particular are quite bad at making friends.
100%.
We're awkward.
Yeah.
And that is the truth of it. And so for me, I was here 6 or 7 years before I joined the Lions, and I had various different friends coming and going or whatever, but I didn't have that sense of community. And then when I joined the team, it's exactly as you say, it becomes a fraternity, it becomes your family. Yeah, some people do come and go, but mainly the core stays the same. And before we get on to the mysterious trip, one thing that always stuck out to me was those little actions of helping out. So, for example, I was moving flat, posted in the chat saying, can somebody come help me? Within about 10 minutes, 5 people are like, yeah, I'll be there now. Come and help you move your stuff. And like that is something that you need as a support network, I think.
I totally agree. I think it's rare though, and I think guys are pretty crap at it. To be honest, my missus always says Barcelona is the home of lost souls. So when you come here, amazing city, amazing people, but quite hard to integrate, especially if you're an international person, you don't speak the language. It's quite hard to find your feet, and it's one of the reasons, as we've said, that we've built the club. Of you want positive people looking after each other, a group of mates that, oh, I need help. How do I do this? Or how do I get my document for this? Or how does this work? Or how do I go there? There's always somebody, I need help moving. Great example.
I need a job.
Need a job. I mean, and all this stuff happens in the group. And there's 200 and something people now in the Lions community group. And there's regularly people putting in there, hey, my missus needs a job, or my mate's moving to Barcelona. Can anyone got a place for him to stay? Or whatever the request might be. But that void of Barcelona is the home of lost souls, it's kind of disappearing because of the Lions. And there's people that now they have this platform that the Lions has provided that gives them a sense of belonging to something and feeling welcome in a city. Not that the city's unwelcoming at all, but when you're here and you've got immediately, and I've spoken to so many players that have said the Barcelona Lions has changed my experience of Barcelona, because I've come here and Cookie's a great example, that when he came here, he was playing for Alea. They came on an Erasmus. There was Jack Cook and there was Paddy that came as well. And they came over here for a year. And after, a few months of sort of finding your feet a little bit, and then they join a rugby club. And then all of a sudden, they've got this structure. And I think a lot of guys, maybe not a lot of guys, but my personal opinion is I need structure in my life. And like, if I don't have it, I'm all over the place. And rugby's always been the platform for me to have that structure. I'm like, right, on Wednesdays I've got to train, on Fridays I've got to train, on Saturday I've got a game, on, and you've got this, and you've got these great positive people. You've got this great structure. You're doing something productive with your life. You're feeling fit, you're feeling healthy, you're doing the right things. And all of this is a mad combination of stuff that we've just been able to give to so many people. So as much as we've provided that platform, actually, and I say it to all of you guys, like the amount of chats we have with people, thank you so much. You've changed Barcelona, you've changed the experience, like us three, from what we've done. And every single time I hear it, I'm like, it's nothing to do with us. It's all about you guys. If you guys were all negative people, nasty people, disloyal people, people with negative values, no one that ever came to train with the Lions would ever want to come back. So you've got to have that right core. And I think it started the club that we got the right people, and it's luck to a certain extent. You get great people that come in, and then other people are like, oh, I fancy a bit of rugby, or I used to play, or I'm new to Barcelona. There's an international club. They come, they meet everybody, and they're like, wow, look at these guys. I want to be part of this. So it's less really, we've just kind of built the club, but it's quite organically become what it has because of the players. Nothing to do with us, really. So we're very lucky in that respect.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is you can be all loyal and friendly and help each other and do all these amazing things, and then smash the shit out of each other.
100%, that's the best bit.
Which
right?
is
The thing about rugby.
which is something that I think it was missing from my life. I stopped playing when I was about 20, didn't play for 6 or 7 years, came back and I was like, I have just missed running into people. And miss people running into me.
Guys are quite simple creatures with this stuff.
Yeah.
See, good mates, good people. I need to be able to do stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I want to be able to run as fast as I can into someone. And I don't know why that's in my head, but it is.
It is there.
But it's there. And you can't get rid of that. You can't get rid of that. And I think it's important. One thing I like, Jordan Peterson says, 1 foot in order and the rest in chaos. And, some people need a bit more than a foot in order. Some people might need just a toe in order. But you're right, you need some sort of structure, some sort of a little bit of discipline that you do, and the rest of your life then can be adventure, this, that, and the other crazy things, creativity, doing whatever.
Yeah.
As long as you've got a little bit of thing that grounds you
Everything in balance,
to reality.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
What I like as well is over the years, we've been evolving as a club within Catalonia as well. In the beginning, we were like a bunch of giddies, starting a rugby club, and everybody was looking at, well, that's a weird experiment. Let's see how long that lasts. And over time, we got more contacts with other clubs, made friends in Catalan rugby, and they accepted us in their world as well. So we're not just because we're beating most of the teams, but but it helps to. It's nice to see that we're accepted as a full-on rugby team. As though we don't have a home pitch yet, we made a community strong enough to even survive without a home pitch, and the other teams see it and they ask about it. It's like, how come you guys are growing? Most of the local teams are losing players, and we're still growing. And that's a very nice thing to see. Like, we put in effort, we're still putting in effort, but it's something that somehow organically, like as Rick said, it's growing without us. I mean, we put the thing down, and it's going by itself almost, and that's for me, it's the most satisfying thing to see.
Yeah. Just to add on the back of that as well, like we never talk politics to each other, we never do, but a real big deal for me is like you look at what's going on in the world, and you look at how there's hatred from this to this because you're from there, or you're this religion, or you're that race, or you're whatever it may be. How many nationalities play for the Lions now?
15, 16.
So there's 15 or 16 nationalities, and they're like brothers, all of them, to a man. It's nothing to do with race. It's nothing to do with religion. It doesn't matter where you're from. None of these things. But if you're a good guy, you're a good guy. If you're a good person, you're a good person. If you have the right values, none of that stuff matters. And the Lions is an absolute. It should be like the jewel of everything. Of going, yeah, because explain that club then. Explain how so many nationalities are best mates. If, well, you're from there, so you're different, and we're all different, yet they're all best mates. The values is the important thing.
Just to build on that and probably take it back to the why we're here. We walk the walk, and we talk the talk. Vis-a-vis, this is the whole cycle ride part of it. As we said, it's all about when something goes wrong. We have 2 of our teammates had bad injuries, and they had huge medical fees which weren't covered by insurance. I think in total 23 grand. So the whole point of this is we're cycling from Zurich to Barcelona to raise money to cover those costs. So, and again, it goes back to the values and not just talking about those values, bringing those values to life. And from a leadership point of view, that's why we're doing it, right? So we're spending a lot of time training now, trying to get as many donations as possible. We'll put the link up for people to donate afterwards. But yeah, this is the kind of the crux of it. It's 1,400 kilometers in total. It's not an easy feat at all. And that's kind of the idea, is leading from the front.
Okay. And what happened to the people in the first place?
So, we had Emir as the first example, Emir Hyde. We were at training one night, and he went down in contact, I think, didn't he? And he went down and he was complaining about his neck. We told him to sit out because with neck injuries, like you don't want to kind of just go, you should be all right, get back in and whatever. So we sat him out the rest of the session. I spoke to him during the week, and he was like, it's a bit stiff. He came to training the next week and did exactly the same. And at that point, I think he kind of got some scans and whatever. And yeah, it was pretty bad. I think there was some, something in his vertebrae that they had to operate on him. So, we were going to the hospital to see him every day. And, they go in, which I thought was weird, eh? But they go in the front and they move your windpipe out the way and kind of like fuse everything back in place. And obviously,
he broke his neck.
I mean, he broke his neck. And that's him out of rugby, which is,
It's out of him of contact sport forever.
Yeah.
Right? It's more than that. It's affected, his quality of life is affected forever, as well as the cost. It's a big toll.
Yeah. And that's, it's obviously when you're passionate about a sport and then somebody's doing that sport and then they have an injury like that and then they're done. That's really tough to swallow, especially when you are the ones that started that club. You were all there at the training, and you're like, you just feel an element of accountability for it. And that's one of the guys. The other guy, Jack Cook, I don't know if one of you guys want to explain the spinal.
It's out of him of contact sport forever.
Yeah.
Right? It's more than that. It's affected, his quality of life is affected forever, as well as the cost. It's a big toll.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah, I guess it's another spinal injury that he had. Again, in the lower back rather than the neck this time. It's a problem again. Um, the spinal issue and the nerves inside there basically means that he's out of rugby for the long term. And again, there was huge costs involved in that he couldn't get covered by insurance. And again, from a leadership point of view, you have a duty of care to your players. You have a responsibility and accountability, and again, it's about us stepping up to that responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible to see. I do actually remember Amir going down and on the floor, and I remember at first being like, "Oh, I'm sure he's okay,"
Same.
and then being like, "Oh, go on, get up," and then
Yeah,
and then I'm pretty sure he went away in an ambulance. I think, did he? Or maybe he went.
No, he didn't. But it became apparent quite quickly the second week that you're like, oh, hang on, this is something really pretty serious.
Yeah, and then I remember seeing him then in a big neck brace thing, which he was in for ages after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so he wasn't just over exaggerating. He wasn't overreacting. He's broken his neck.
That's a pretty bad one. Yeah.
I'd also like to point out for people listening that these injuries are severe and quite rare.
Yeah, for sure.
Not to put people off from playing rugby,
Yeah.
because shit happens in all sports and all walks of life. We've been unfortunate to have 2 people in a short space of time with bad long-term injuries. But yeah, it goes back again then to, you could just leave those people to foot those bills, or you can do something about it, because nobody wants to foot a 10, 15 grand bill when they're in their 20s or 30s or whatever, and not necessarily struggling to make ends meet, but nobody's cash rich at that age.
It's a big heap of money. It's not something, we're not talking about a few hundred euros. So I think it's something. The insurance, of course, is nice if it covers things, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Why didn't it work in this case?
Well, Amir was still doing the paperwork and was not fully covered yet. But that's why it happened in training, not in a match. So that also gives us a bit of feedback that we have to be more on top of making sure everything is arranged. And I also think that the local insurance company is trying to save money on treatments and things. It's been an issue for the last 2 years with the federation as well. So in the case of Jack Cook, it was something that they didn't step up where they should have. I think they should have covered it. And they say they don't have to. So it's a legal issue, and but yeah, that's the way things sometimes go, unfortunately.
And I think just on that as well, like, I think there's no doubt in our opinion about what should have happened. But again, it's the falling back on the rugby values a little bit and just going, do we just whinge and complain and be negative and stamp our feet and do everything that we say we're not? Or do we try and be positive people and do the right thing for our mates and do the action? And the action that the 3 of us unanimously decided upon was, as founders, forget that. They're our mates. Yeah. They play for the Lions. But outside of that, we enjoy going for beers with them. We enjoy the chat with them. We're there to help them through anything. And if this had happened at rugby or not, to be honest, they're mates. We'd have still done it. We'd have still done something. But you have that responsibility that you do feel like, man, if that happened on our watch, they're here, their families are back home. Like, who's looking after my kid? Like, are they safe? Are they in a good environment? Are they around the right people? Yeah, they are. And so our unanimous decision was we need to do something pretty big because we need to raise the amount of money that's pretty big. And we decided upon doing this bike ride. And yeah, listen, it's tough, man. Like, it's like I'm not a fit person at all, not compared to this guy anyway. And it goes back to, as everything does in rugby, it goes back to the same stuff, which is it's less about this. And it's like, oh, you're unfit. You're 44 and you got one leg that works properly. Yeah, but your mate needs you. So what do? Just get on a bike and figure it out, and we will. Like, I'm terrified genuinely terrified of this trip. But yeah, it's for your mates. So what are you going to do?
It's very easy to say that once a lion, always a lion.
Yeah.
Because we do say that, but it's our turn to show that we mean it. And it doesn't mean that if you're not playing anymore because of an injury or because you're old or whatever, then all of a sudden you're not important to the club anymore.
And that's the great contrast. And like, you couldn't probably have picked, if you'd picked by hand, a greater contrast in terms of experience of rugby. So you had Emir that was learning to play the game in the first few sessions of rugby after years and years, but I think he played it in school or whatever. But he's never played a game for the Lions. He's only been to a couple of training sessions, but we're doing this for him. And then we've got Jack Cook last year, won the league, player of the season. Every time he's been involved in a club that I've coached, been player of the year. All the experience, all the talent, all the everything in the world, versus somebody that's had a couple of training sessions with the Lions, but once a lion, always a lion. And it doesn't matter if you're the man and the guy that's getting all these accolades and picking up trophies and player of the year and doing all this stuff and you're scoring for fun, or you're just figuring out how to play rugby. If you're a lion, you're a lion. And I think it's a nice, in a really tragic situation, it's a nice, quote unquote, contrast, and kind of justifies a little bit about what we're saying, which is, you know, if it's just Jack that's got you're like, yeah, well, he's your player of the year, of course you want to look after him. No, it's not just because of that. It doesn't matter. If you are in our friendship group, if you're playing for our club, if you're involved in this community in any capacity, you're around good people that have your back, and that's massively important.
Yeah, it is very, very important. I heard that one of the original ideas was cookies for Jack Cook, aka Cookie, cookies for cookies, and then I was thinking maybe paneer for Emir.
An ear for
Paneer,
Oh,
like
an ear. Right.
Indian
Nah,
paneer
that's-
for Emir.
I don't want to do this. Yeah.
So how did you steer away from cookies for Cookie and paneer for Emir?
Well, we haven't ruled either of those things out. So maybe even on
be
the
that
day we
off.
arrive back in Barcelona, cookies may or may not be on sale. Just
Okay.
watch this space.
Space cookies.
But basically, the idea was we wanted to do something that was a challenge because that shows the leadership front of it, right? Bacon cookies is something that anyone could do. But from a leadership, from a brother point of view, that's what we wanted to do. You know, we talk about how the values of rugby and all of that, and we talked about the physicality of it. And it's a brutal sport. You know, every game you get hurt, and that's why the values in the community is so important, because why would you go back to something you get hurt from every week unless you have all of that? So you also need to do something, therefore, that puts your body through something, both mentally and physically. You know, the challenge of, you know, the exhaustion of cycling 140 odd kilometers a day. It's mental from concentration, the physical side of going up and down hills, and backing that up day to day.
Just to quantify, up and down hills means the Alps and the Pyrenees. Yeah,
Correct.
Just kind of up and down hills is really downplaying how amazing we are. By the way.
Up and down mountains, just correct that. Yeah.
See, when I think of cycling 1,400 kilometers, I think of major scrotal chafage.
Well, we've actually got a really good mate of ours that he's done.
Scrotal chafage expert.
I'll get to the right point, right? But like,
You could call him that.
yeah, he's done a couple of these longer bike rides for certain causes of his own, and we've had conference calls with him just to kind of feed off his experience a little bit, and he's recommended this. The first thing he said was this chamois
Chamois cream.
Chamois
Yeah.
cream, and he was just like, thank me later, and I was just like, I'm a bit worried about, and he was just like, chamois cream. It was just like, right, okay. Yeah. So that was like, yeah, front
Pick up on
and
that
centre.
point as well is the fact that none of us before we agreed to this even had bikes. None of us particularly we're not cyclists, we're not cycling enthusiasts, which kind of adds to the challenge, right? Of the fact that we pick something that we had to really train for, really get ourselves involved with, and invest in personally, from buying bikes, buying of the shorts with the padding, the chamois cream, the the speedometers, the helmets, glasses,
It's
clothes,
everything, isn't it?
the whole shebang. We had to sort of we're putting ourselves through at the moment. And again, like I'm doing 400 kilometers a week, sitting on a bike training. Hopefully my
Same. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah,
Rick,
I
how many
think-
kilometers are you doing, Rick?
Yeah, similar. It doesn't matter. I'm mentally strong, I'll get through it. Right? No, but I think it's a good point as well. And I think like all the costs, it's not something that's a small number as well. That's not something that's coming out of 1 cent of the donations. The bikes, the gear, the kit, the GPS, the liquid, the fuel of the car,
hotels and
the
food.
hotels along the way, all the flights to get there and all this, we're paying that out of our pocket. Not to be whatever, but because the point is we raise money for these guys. We don't take that then back off the donations and go, well, we shouldn't lose it. Nah, this is part of our commitment to do what we're doing, is to make sure every person that donates, every solitary cent goes towards the guys, because that's how it should be, right?
Yeah, amen. So you're putting a financial thing forwards as well as your body's on the line. But Rick, do you think it will be harder cycling or spending 10 days with Groundsy?
What a question that is. No, as much as I take the piss out of him all the time, I'm quite looking forward to that bit, to be honest. I don't know how close we'll be together. If he's doing 400 kilometres a week, I'm like, yeah, where's Groundsy? I'm sending for a week. But no, we've known each other for a lot of years. As much as he hates to admit it, I know him really, really well. I'm not worried about 10 days of Groundsy. I'm really worried about 1,400 kilometres though.
And at what point did you decide that sleeping in a tent on the way was not the way forward?
Day one.
Oh, day one. As soon as the idea was floated, I threw that out. You know, if you've been cycling for 140 kilometers a day, the last thing you want is sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
And in uncomfortable circumstances, you know, to be able to do that day to day, you need to sort out your recovery and, you know, foam rollers, ice bars, all of that stuff, and do all that, and your nutrition, and do all that properly. You know, otherwise, it's just going to be hell.
Yeah, I had some friends. They were quite young. A guy that used to live with me, he cycled from somewhere in France to Barcelona. Took them way longer than they thought, and they slept in tents, and it sounded horrible.
Cheers for the motivation, mate.
You're not in tents though.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think they had road bikes either. I think they were just on like kind of regular
BMX or something.
So the part we have not mentioned yet is Thijs. Would you stop moving, please? Thijs, what is your role in all of this?
Well, the basic idea was that we're going to do the bike ride, the three of us together. But then while going over it, and we'll be on a bicycle for, I think, about 10 hours a day or somewhere around that. I'm self-employed, and I can't really take 10 days of not working. I don't ever do that, even in summer holidays. My record is 3 days of not working, in spite of everything my wife says. But that's something I just can't afford not working. So then the other idea came up: if we need a car to take all the equipment and everything. In this case, if I drive the car and they only have to bring a bottle of water on a bicycle, it helps them out, and I can make sure that I'm around when they need it, and I'll stay backwards a bit when they are leaving, and I'll overtake them and wait for them to come by again, and so forth and so forth. So I think in having a bit of a structure and a backup when needed might be handy for them as well. Even a peace of mind knowing that if my bike breaks down in the middle of the Alps, there's somebody somewhere near. And I think that, it will make their ride easier, and I'll do my part this way, and this way I can work a bit before and after.
Just 2 points on that as well. I haven't said it to you yet really either, but firstly, like, after speaking to Gossi, our mate that's done these a couple of journeys before, said you literally will not complete this unless you have a support crew, but not just a support crew, but someone you have to trust them 100%. If you say you're going to be there, you've got to be there. The second point, how easy is it for you, honestly, to go, well, I'm self-employed. I can't. I've taken 3 days off. I'm not bike. I can't do the trip. But found a way to be not just involved, but like integral to us being able to do this thing. And like, again, another value, another thing. There's a theme, obviously, with all this stuff, but it's not just by us saying nice, it's the actions behind everything. You could point to every single thing we've said this whole way, and you're like, what's the action? What's the value? And it's so obvious. And that's like, we've never really spoken about that before, but you have a tailor-made excuse to get away with it and not have to do it. But that's not the attitude. Have to do it. We want to do it. We have to do it. It's for our mates. Of course we have to do it. And just find a way. And it's a bit like me versus 400 kilometres a week in training. I'll find a way. I'll figure it out. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Just find a way. Maybe hold on to the car, maybe. As I've said nice things about it.
I'll roll up the window when you do so.
Just me and Thijs driving back. I'll just get out just before Flaherty's.
You considered steroids and amphetamines?
I have. I don't think my heart could probably take it, to be honest. So, yeah, it's a really bad idea. Where's Rick? He didn't make it. So
I mean, I heard,
Ramsey's fine, though.
I heard that meth heads can stay up for 3 days.
Can they?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
So that could be something to consider. But yeah, I was picturing Thijs driving in front in the car really slowly, and I thought, God, that would be depressing for the people cycling. Just seeing this
I don't know.
car going like 20 kilometers an hour in front of you for like 10 hours a day.
Well, it depends how close it is. If it's touching distance, I imagine that'd be quite a boost. But like, yeah.
Little windbreaker. But no, what you're saying there actually makes a lot more sense than that for time management purposes for driving on. But yeah, I hadn't really thought about that you need a support car.
Well, you can do it with everything tied to your bike, but then your bike will be really heavy. It will be very uncomfortable. You will take the bare minimum. So if we have a car, you can bring anything you want to. And during the trip, you just have your water. I'll be there when they have to have a refill, whatever. And they just can concentrate on riding a bicycle. And that's what it's all about.
And we're not cyclists. It's not like we're
We only learned to ride a bike last week.
super professional. We know exactly what we're doing. We can just do it all ourselves. Not at all. This wouldn't happen unless he...
And taking 10,000 kicks at post, that will be more in your line. That will be too easy. That's why... and because Rick, of course, he moved to Zurich. That's why Zurich is the starting point. It's not just like a random city somewhere in a difficult place.
That's where you wish you moved to Girona or something. Feet up and just down.
I don't know.
Yeah. So it's all starting to make a lot of sense now, because I was also picturing as well changing tyres, which is something I absolutely detest doing. Are you expecting punctures?
Yeah.
I think you have to prepare for that, right? And
Can you change a tyre?
I know how to change a tyre.
Same.
See, again, we need the support car and all of that
Dude,
stuff.
now we're going to have this chat now? No, I've got no idea. I've got 2 puncture repair kits and these really tiny screwdrivers. But that's I was hoping you guys could.
Yeah, we need something a bit more than that. But
well, no, the puncture repair. This is the rubber. I did it when I was a kid. You like bury it in water, and where the bubbles come out, you just kind of wipe it, put the thing in glue, hold it down, and away you go. Right?
I mean, I'm just going to bring spare tyres.
I mean,
more than anything else, but
that is how you change a tyre, though, right? I'm just going to bring new tyres, right? Yeah, I mean, Thijs's car's just full of spare wheels. So, yeah.
No, I think there will be punctures along the way. I mean, it would be really weird to think you can do all this trip without any puncture at all, but it shouldn't be a problem. I did my fair share of tyre repair back in the days.
I think like half of that when we were planning the route. It's on Komoot, I think it's called, and like it does tell you the surface that you're cycling on. So some of it's road, obviously. Like you don't want to be on, or I don't think you can be on like motorways or anything. So it's not like as the crow flies or whatever from here to Barcelona, the most direct route. We're going some random little road, but you've got roads. But I think over half of the journey is on. Was it this cycle path and there's another one which is like gravel or something, and you're like, I can't imagine, even if it's say 25% of it, I can't imagine doing 350 odd kilometres on gravel without getting a puncture. To be fair, no. That's just not happening.
I didn't know you could go on gravel with a road bike.
What? No, it'll be fine. I don't think it's gravel. It's sort of
they're
like
all
some
cycle paths.
Yeah.
Right. So, but some of it's a bit dustier and
Yeah.
not as asphalt like as you would find on a road. But primarily, particularly like through France, it's very high quality roads, dead easy, dead flat, and that should be fine.
Flat is good.
It's just the mountains.
Just the Alps and the
Mountain
Pyrenees
Dew.
either side of the flat bit that's the problem, right? Yeah.
The flat part is the easy part.
Oh yeah. So, what's the plan for when you arrive?
Good question.
We having a party?
We haven't. I guess we are. I haven't put any thought into that at all, bizarrely, because that's usually like the best bit, right? But I guess we're gonna. Our destination is our main sponsor for the club, which is Flatterity's Irish Bar.
What a brilliant idea it was for them to sponsor us.
Mate, I mean, they do well off us, but they're great to us, and they've been with us since literally day one. We walked in there, and they've been amazing and so accommodating for everything we've ever asked them. They've been immense, so it feels right to kind of end it there. And I think it's kind of arrive on the 9th of May at Flatterity's at some point, and I mean, just a few beers, few laughs, few drinks, probably
around and bike
few
back again.
tears. Yeah. Just go
Plan the next
go
trip.
back to a hotel room for a bit of a cry, probably something like that. Yeah, I think we'll be in absolute pieces by that stage.
I think the idea is when we arrive into Flatterity's on the sort of the last day, mid-afternoon or whatever, all the team should be there to sort of welcome us, some drinks, some celebrations. I think then we'll turn it into more of a fundraising day, do a raffle, all this sort of stuff to raise as much awareness and as much money as possible for the cause.
Nice. And I forgot what I was going to say. Tell us about, you are leaving Barcelona, are you not?
Correct. I'm
As
leaving
of today?
next week.
As of next week. What brought that decision about?
Yeah.
Why are you leaving? What are you doing? Why are you abandoning us?
It's a big question, It's both from a philosophical point of view and from a life and practical point of view. It's a lot
Deep
to cover.
dive into the philosophy.
Please don't. It's only encouraging.
No,
So,
essentially,
Plato in 2000 BC.
From just a family perspective, I've been living in various different countries now for almost 15 years. I don't know the UK. I haven't lived there since I was 21, and I've missed a lot of family stuff from nephews' birthdays, funerals, various other bits and pieces that I haven't been able to make it back for. And as families getting older, you want to spend a bit more quality time with them. Spending the next couple of years focusing on that.
Nice.
Love that, by the way.
Huh?
I'd love to take the piss, but I love that answer. Yeah, so just go now, Grounds. It's such a good guy.
Yeah, no, I feel it is hard being away, not having your family. These things cross my mind also, and as the old parents start to age, you start to think, oh God.
So someone told me this thing. This is dark, by the way.
I think I might. If you're saying what I
The
told,
days.
if you're going to say what I think you're going to say, I think I told you. But go ahead.
Maybe. So it's whoever it was told me. They said, how many days a year do you see your parents? And let's say it's 10 days a year. Yeah, if you live here, that's like pretty decent, to be honest. 10 days a year. And then say your parents are, let's say 70. Average life expectancy is 85? I don't know. So it's 15 years. That's 150 days that you would see your parents for. Again, that's it. 150 days. So I get why people would kind of cherish that, and it is difficult being away. And again, it's the home of lost souls, and when you're here, you sort of feel like you should be back home in the UK or wherever you're from. But it's nice to have a base here of positive things here, and then you can also try and go back, and it's about that balance, I suppose.
Make me doubt.
Yeah.
Been here for 26 years, no problem at all, and now all of a sudden I want to go.
But you have a family here, though. You
Yeah.
at least have some family here.
Such a
Well,
shit
no,
son.
my family lives in the Netherlands.
But you've got your children.
I got my
and your
children and I
wife.
got my wife. Yeah. So I got my core family is
core
here,
family.
but my parents are in the Netherlands, and I do see them about 10 days a year.
Fucking hell, I didn't know that. Yeah, but I mean, just don't do the maths, is what I'm saying.
Because I heard I think it was like a comedian or a podcast where someone said that thing, and they were like, so I'm pretty sure it was me.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that you that
Yeah,
said
I
that?
think
Right,
it was.
okay.
And then I heard that, and I was like, oh my God. And I was like, doing the same maths, and then I was like, oh no. And I was like, they're not
Oh,
going to
no,
be.
that's ages.
I was like, they're not going to be here forever. I mean, I'm fairly lucky. I do get to see them probably more than 10 days, like quite a lot. But it's still, you're like, it's still not that long.
No, it's not, man.
It's still
But
not
then
that
again,
long.
that's for me. That's something from the Lions, for example. The idea of having a family away from home, which you can find friends, and you can find people who are there for you. And of course, you're not the same friends with all the people. So you probably have your few people which you're more mates with than other ones. But it's something, if you know you need something and your direct family is not around and you do have somebody to rely on, and I think that's the beauty of it. And that's also, I think, why it's so strong. Because deep down inside, everybody living in Barcelona, being a foreigner, you have something like, okay, there's something missing. You left your mates back home, your family, so you come here and you have to start all over again. And it doesn't mean that it's impossible, of course not. But you have to work on it. And I think as a base, having the Lions is something that can really help out. So.
I agree. Rick, when you were living here, you told me before you
Wait,
left.
Is it going to be as profound as the thing you told me about the hours? Yeah.
Yeah, so Rick, you told me when you were living in Barcelona before you were about to leave, you said, I've got to go. I've been living like a 21-year-old for the past 10 years. Do you want to explain a little bit about that and how your life now is different? Do you miss us?
Yeah, so I think, yes. But I think being in Barcelona, it's such a great city to go out. It's an outdoor life. Everyone's out. You have a few beers with your mates, and it is a bit just like being an eternal 21-year-old. And then at some stage, you kind of like, I've got a wife and kid, and I want to spend time with them. I realised when I was coaching at the Lions, I'm missing out on quite a lot with my daughter, with my missus, and I sort of stepped back from coaching, and then Groundsy stepped in, and it was because of that. It was because I'm putting so much time and effort into trying to make the club and trying to build these relationships and get that nucleus right. That you sort of, if you're focusing everything there, I've got like a missus and a little one that I'm obviously not focusing there as much. And I think bigger picture was, I was lucky enough to get a job in Switzerland, and we moved over there about 18 months ago. So I think for Chloe, my daughter, she's had this growing up as a kid on the Mediterranean and swimming in the sea, and now she's carving up the Alps every weekend with me, and like it's just such a cool little childhood that we've given her, and like we're really happy there. It's massively different. And like the first weekend I was in Switzerland, I was in my Lions like vest thing in the supermarket, and this guy's like, "Oh, you play rugby? I'm a member of the local club." I'm like, "No, man, mate.
Stay away. Stay away.
I was like, "My missus is in the next aisle." I was like, "I promised her." I was like, "It's Lions or nothing now." So it's been quite a complicated year for me in some respects. So I haven't been able to really get back as much this year as I've wanted to. But yeah, I'm really happy in Switzerland. I love being there. But to me, this is still home. And like, I used to say to the guys when they joined the club, I'm like, this is it's a home of lost souls. This is a platform. This is this environment. This is this thing. Because like people come and they go in Barcelona, and then we started the Lions. I didn't realise the first one out of the founders to leave would be me. I was just like, no, I'm like, yeah, exactly. So I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. Now I'm the one kind of leaving, and I think
Grounds is leaving.
Yeah, now Grounds is leaving. So yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, mate. Doing a great job.
It's all on me.
Yeah. So,
So you can go about doing all the cycling you want, but ultimately you've abandoned us.
oh my God, that's cold. But yeah, ultimately true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when I arrived in Barcelona, and you come from England where it's very much go to uni, get a job, go to uni, live the corporate life, get married, whatever. And I came here and I was like 20, and I was friends with people that were like 30, 40, just hanging about. And I was like, wait a minute, none of these people have bothered growing up. Why do I have to? I was like, these people are all doing the exact same things
just
I'm
free
doing.
license, isn't
It's
it?
just Neverland. I was like looking around, and you look back home in England and people hit 30 and they're about 25 stone and smoking 60 fags a day, and then you come here and there's people in their 50s who are just fit and lean running around, and everyone looks like supermodels.
What? Why are you laughing?
And I was like, it kind of gave me a different perspective on life, that you don't have to rush to grow up necessarily,
of course you
because
don't.
I'm living to 105, so that's a long time.
105. Such a niche number.
Because
It's like 100 or like
no, because I don't want to get to 100 and die.
102.
You want to celebrate for 5
No,
years.
We're going on a 5-year bender and then dead.
The actual reason is because in astrology there's a thing where every 29 years you enter a new cycle of life. So in your first 29 years, 29 to 30, is when by the end of 29 to 30 your personality should have somewhat solidified. You're kind of grown up, shall we say, in that sense, and then you're kind of fixed, whereas in your 20s everything's all changing all the time. And then 29 to 58, I suppose, are your middle years. 58 to 87 is your third life. So in Spain they actually call it third life. 87 then to 116 is your fourth life. And strangely enough,
How many people have the fourth one? Like that?
no, but this is what I mean.
You
Like,
want to go?
So what? But yeah, but in fact, why not 105? Why 105? Why not 116?
because
no
that's
ambition.
That's
man.
unrealistic. Then I'd be like 1 in a billion.
Nice.
Whereas 105, I feel like that's not asking too much.
It's
That's
doable.
halfway through.
It's pretty greedy. It's I think 100.
105's fine, especially in this day and age.
116. That's.
I don't know.
But
105, you need a lot of Viagra to get through. So
Oh, don't make me think about it. Especially not you at 105. Think about it. No sleep for me.
the practicalities of
listened-
life.
But interestingly enough, after I heard about that theory, I was looking at the oldest people. The oldest people in the world ever are around like 118. No one's lived above 120. And also, interestingly enough, in the Bible it says that 120 is the lifespan of a human. And as far as we know, no one's ever gone past 120. So I always thought that was
So
interesting.
the Bible's not accurate, you're saying?
No, it is accurate. It's saying that's the maximum lifespan.
So even if you're good, you're like, nope.
As far, yeah, you're gone. But yeah, then I got to thinking, I want to get there, and I always wanted to get that little telegram, because I'm first of all, how do you receive a telegram? Like,
Pretty sure it's right.
I presume you need a telegram to have a telegram machine to receive a telegram from the king. Or probably won't even be a king then; it would be
No,
someone
they
else.
sent this, my grandma lived to be 100, and she got a card. It wasn't like a telegram; it was just like a birthday card.
They do it here in Spain. They'll give you they'll bring you flowers and a car and everything. Yeah.
In Spain, it must be. I feel like there's a lot more people in Spain that live.
Passing it. Yeah.
Do you think?
I reckon.
People, as you say, people are healthy here, right? People have too much fast food in the UK and just generally unhealthy beings. The Mediterranean diet and all that, and the sunshine makes you live longer.
Yeah, that is true. My other theory is I can't grow a full beard yet, which makes me think I'm aging slowly. Therefore,
So you've just done the maths and gone 105.
105.
yeah. So I've basically plotted a little graph and I've just gone zoop, like that. 105.
Where's the line stop? It says 105 here.
Yeah, 105. So that's the goal.
That's so random.
It's a long time.
So random. I think you should go for 116. But anyway, we digress.
Yeah, we digress. But by then you'll be able to get new organs, you'll be able to get new hips, you'll be able to get whatever you want. But the thing that made me start thinking about it, which I also think is quite inspirational and cool, is I saw this podcast with this guy, and when he was about 60, he got, I think, a colon cancer or prostate or something, and his son was a doctor, gave him all these sort of alternative medicine things, mainly diet, to change it, got rid of the cancer, then started getting fit in his 60s, and then he was running marathons in his 90s, and even at 100, he still runs, I think it was 10 miles a week, and goes kayaking and canoeing. And he said,
that's outrageous.
yeah, he said he probably could run a marathon if he wanted, but he wouldn't do it unless it were for charity or something, just because there's no point.
Maybe he wants to do a bike ride.
Yeah.
Watching him overtake me would be the most soul-destroying bike ride of my life. And I was going to say, I can't remember the country, you'll know this, but there was that guy, he's about 85, 90, he plays in golden rugby shorts, and he still plays rugby.
It's in Wales.
That was in the UK.
How good is that?
That is insane.
And I think the golden shorts signify you're not allowed to smash him, basically.
You're not allowed
is
to
it?
touch him.
Yeah,
You're
no,
not-
I think you can stop him, but you can't
No,
attack him.
Well, there's vets rules for this, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
if you're
the-
in black shorts, it's
no,
like
red
semi-contact.
short you can't tackle, but you can hold him. Purple shorts you can touch him, but you can't hold him. And golden shorts you can't touch him, but he can only run 10 meters with the ball.
So you just, like, a 5-minute scrum, and he just put him at scrum half, and then he just walks over.
Yeah.
I mean, fair play, man.
Wait a minute.
If
So
you've
they-
earned the golden shorts, then...
I think you can only wear golden shorts 75 upwards. So that's still, it's not
Jeez, you've
easy.
got 30 years playing there. Think how many tries you'll score. Probably
I'm
same
only
as you do
I'm
now.
only 32. I got 30 years playing
Yeah, if
in the gold
75 to
shorts.
105 is the...
Yeah. I didn't know that part about the guy because I just saw a video of that guy. That makes it a little bit less
Spectacular.
spectacular if he's not allowed to get tackled. Because
Well,
the
maybe-
thing I saw, he was getting lifted in the line out.
Yeah.
He's like 80 or something. He was getting lifted in the line out. This
You
guy.
imagine these guys just walking away like some guys do and just leave you hanging there.
But he was saying, which is also pretty accurate. He was just like, look, if you just don't stop, there's not a point where you just can't, unless something really goes wrong mechanically or whatever, and you
Recovery takes a lot longer.
recovery does take a lot longer. But I was there thinking he's there going to be tackling massive people because in like
that would be unbelievable. wouldn't it?
No, but it's the same.
I didn't see him in gold
No,
shorts.
it's with the vets rules. If you're wearing even a red short and they can't tackle you, you're not allowed to tackle somebody else neither.
What, so they're
So
allowed
what
to
do
tackle you?
no.
No. They're not allowed to tackle you neither. So if somebody's wearing a red short, the difficult part is once you're in a game and you're just picking up a ball and you're going towards somebody, and all of a sudden you see he's wearing red shorts, and you're already flying in there. It's sometimes a bit difficult to stop.
sorry.
It happens.
So the vets games that you play in, are there usually people in different shorts?
No, because the vets games we play here in Catalonia are mainly the younger people. But for example, in June there's the European Golden Oldies in Valencia, and there's about 80 teams coming there from all over Europe. And it's normal to see people there with red shorts and sometimes purple shorts.
So
Never
is
seen
red shorts the youngest? What age is that?
the youngest at 35 for vets.
No, for the short colour thing.
No, the red short, you can wear a red short when you have an injury or whatever, and just maybe the temporary. A few years ago, we were in European Golden Oldies in San Sebastian, and a mate of mine, he broke his nose during one of the games, and he played on, but with red shorts. Because he said,
Rather than stopping, it was just
no,
like,
it was fun.
just have the shorts.
Yeah. He played with his father,
Oh, how
and
good.
his father was wearing red shorts as well, but he was already 72, I think. So
Fair play.
yeah, but it's fun, but it's really different. So yeah, you can still play when you're 85 or even 104 maybe. Don't do it 105.
Yeah,
you don't want to
no,
die
no,
on the pitch.
No, I don't
looks-
want to die on the pitch.
Gives the game a bad name.
That would be so hard. So what do you do when the people run towards you? The red people, the reds, you can touch them. It's like touch.
you can stop them, but you can't tackle them, and it's difficult to switch your mindset because the next guy they're offloading to another guy. He runs into you full and normal rugby. It's
What
difficult.
about clearing out rucks?
No,
Then if
you
a
You
guy-
can't be involved.
You're not allowed to clear out rucks. So the first one in basically seals the ruck, and that's it. So there's no clearing out rucks neither.
In vets rugby, no clearing out at all.
No. It's
In all of the vets rugby, or just these ones with the
no,
fun
basically
shorts?
all the vets rugby. That's the official rule. Nor are you you're not allowed to The only rule they sometimes change, they say you can't run more than 22 meters with the ball, but it's difficult to check. So sometimes you say, okay, the only rule we have on that is in the 22, you have to pass it at least once. So you can have one guy running all the pitch and then he's standing by himself waiting for somebody to back him up because he has to pass the ball before they can ground it. But it's, yeah.
That sounds very confusing.
It sometimes is, yeah.
Okay, so before we start wrapping it up, is there anything anybody else wants to bring up?
No, I don't know. I guess like from my bit, I've been coaching for a long time now, and I think this whole journey that the three of us are doing, and the cause and the thing we're doing it for, I think certainly for me, I see it quite a bit more of like an opportunity. I think whenever, you guys would have heard me say it when we're playing, but whenever there's a new player that comes to the Lions or whatever, I always try and take them aside and speak to them and just say, like, I don't really give a shit if you're a worldie of a player or you're day one of a player. I really give a shit about what type of teammate you are. That's the thing that really matters to me. And like, what would you do for your mate? That for me, there's nothing over loyalty, nothing. And I see this trip really as, we've spoken about it a bit before, but yeah, you're talking about like it's actions, not words. But for a really long time, for me, it's just been words because I've been coaching, and you're not able to prove what you guys are able to prove on a weekly basis. Yeah. And like, it's really easy to say, do this for your mate, do anything for your mate. And so I really see this as like an opportunity for me, like I said, wildly unfit and on one leg, but I will do this regardless of how long it takes or how hard it is, because I see it genuinely as like, this is me finally being able to go, that's what I'd do for my mate.
Yeah, thanks for that. And one thing as well I forgot to mention was, or forgot to ask about, was you mentioned a couple of times being on one leg. Tell us a little bit about that and what led you into coaching in the first place.
Oh, it's quite an embarrassing story, really. Yeah.
Oh, yes,
I mean, I've got a lot of them, but this is probably publishable. It was the day before I was I was living in Barcelona, and I'd spoken to a mutual friend of ours, Craig, and he wanted me to come and play for a team called Alea, just up the coast, where he lived, near where Thijs and him live, and I was like, geez, I haven't played rugby for a long while, and I had a few mates where I was working. They were off down the beach to play five-a-side football in Bogatel. And I was like, it'd be a good gauge for me to see where my fitness is at. And, I sort of went down, was playing. I kind of planted my leg on the floor to try and block something, and the guy steamed into my leg. And my leg, if you've broken bones before, and I knew it kind of folded on itself. And I knew it was bad, and I felt like it's that 2, 3, 4 seconds of you're like, shit, hang on, I know what's happened, I just can't feel it yet. And a mate of mine, I said, his name's Warren Burns, but Warren, I said to him, help me up. I said, I think I can probably run it off. Idiot. So I stood up, my leg folded. I called my missus, who's now my wife. I said, I've hurt my leg a little bit. So she comes down on her scooter, and I have to kind of sit on the back of my leg, flopping in the breeze. They take me to the hospital, put it all up, and then I'm like, shit, we're going on, probably 9 months later, we went on a holiday, a long holiday together. And I remember we were trying to climb up this mountain. I was just, legs on fire. And I was just like, man, I can't do it, man. Like, I remember I played 6 months of rugby. I might be getting my times a little bit wrong here. Maybe it's like a year and a half after we went on this holiday, but I played like 6 months of rugby at Alea, and I was so bad. Like, my head, I knew where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. I just couldn't get there. And so you're always like, not even a yard off it. I was like 2 yards off where I needed to be all the time. And I was like, I'm a scrum half. So I'm like I was playing 10 for Alea, and I'm just like, I just couldn't get to the parts of the pitch I wanted to get to at the time I wanted to get there. So I was just like, man, I went on this holiday with my missus, and we're halfway up this mountain. I just remember she was just like, you need to get your legs scanned. So I came home, got my legs scanned, and where it should have sealed like this, it actually, and it's still to this day, it's sealed kind of like over like this, so it's not a full solid connection in my bone. And I was like, oh, that kind of explains, why I've been crap at rugby for 6 months. And they said, well, the only thing to do is re-break it, and I just didn't want to do all that stuff, and I was just like, oh, do you know what? Like, I've kind of put my body through quite a bit over the years. I've broken pretty much everything, and I'm like, honestly, I didn't have the balls to kind of call it a day. I still haven't, to be honest. I've still got these like illusions of grandeur about just going to having a run out again. But I spoke to the coach of Alea, Noel, at the time, and I called him and said, I don't have the balls to retire yet, but I said, I'm not capable of playing rugby. I was like, I'll be the ball boy, I'll be the lino, I'll be the water boy, whatever you need. I just want to be around the group still, And so I turned up for the first training session to be the water boy, and he wasn't there, and he'd moved back to the UK like randomly, and so I just kind of got thrust into coaching. Loved it, learned as you learning by fire a little bit, but and then met Groundsy and me started working together, training Alea, and then when we left there, we sort of had a conversation of maybe that's it for rugby, and then we're like, do you know what? Let's, the three of us were like, I think there's a massive opportunity to build something really special for people, and we have, and yeah, like I don't think for a single second any of us have regretted putting this club together.
Well, from my side, thank you for putting it together. Thank you for doing what you do, because I know it's a lot of effort and a lot of hassle and a lot of time, basically, that goes into it, and you do it all for free. So, yeah, thank you. And I know everybody on the team feels the same as that.
Thanks to the team, to be fair. It's like we were saying earlier, it's like if everyone's if everyone's a dickhead, to be honest, no one comes back. The fact that the quality of this group is what it is, it's all thanks to the team.
Amen to that. So before we finish off, we have a tradition on the podcast where I ask everybody for their words of wisdom, and I don't like to tell them in advance because I like to thrust it upon them, and make them panic a little bit and come up with some words
Everyone's
of wisdom.
moving,
So
everyone's like,
yeah.
Comfortable.
So it's only a question I'll be thrusting upon you, nothing else.
I'm out.
So, Thijs, do you have any words of wisdom for the listeners?
Words of wisdom. No, I think it's very philosophical, but follow your heart. Do what you think feels good, and it will lead you to different new things and bigger things. And for me, for example, that was on the base of starting the rugby club. That was on the base of when Rick said, maybe we should do this bicycle journey. I said yes, and afterwards you start thinking that.
Your head tells you no.
Well, doubts are coming in, but you said yes because you knew in your heart it was a good thing to do. So now I think it will bring you to bigger things, day-to-day things as well. Starting my own business, is it a good idea? Not sure, but it feels good. Let's try it. That's been 20 years ago now. With everything,
and I hate it.
No, but I think it's you have to follow your heart, not always just go by follow your brain, because it's certainly a lot more fun. Get you in situations where otherwise you wouldn't be.
Amen to that. Rick, words of wisdom.
I'm glad you spoke for quite a long time, but I still didn't. This might be a bit of a cop out, but it's a really valid point, and it's a point I've already said. And that is, it's about the different nationalities within the Lions, and it's about that community of, it doesn't matter where you're from, it's what your character is. It's if you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. And it doesn't matter what race, what religion, where you're from, what your attitude, what your background is, what you today. If you're a good person and you try and be positive and you try and help your mates and you don't expect anything back in return, that shows that all of this bullshit you see all over the news about this is dangerous, these are scary, this is extreme, it's all noise to make you listen in to and buy into the bullshit. There are good people in every single country, in every single city, in every single village. There are good people everywhere. And there's the opposite too. But if you surround yourself with good people, like we've been lucky enough to do, then good things happen. You know, if you surround yourself with bad people, then bad stuff happens. And that's a pretty strong lesson to learn from, I think.
Yeah, I love it. Look out for the good in people.
100%.
Groundsy?
Yeah, sure. So there's a famous Stoic philosopher called Seneca who said, things are worse in imagination than they are in reality. So basically, don't imagine the worst, everything, just go for it. Don't think about what all the possible things that could go wrong, because you're imagining things going wrong before they actually happen. If something goes wrong, deal with it when that time comes. But otherwise, just go for it. I think when we started the club, we had no idea what to expect, right? It was just 3 guys having a pint saying, screw it, let's just go for it. We didn't know who was going to show up, if anyone was going to show up, and look how it's grown. So yeah, that's the...
Love it. For 3 people who were scared about answering the question, we've got some 3 very good answers. So thank you all for that. I think we got a little bit of an ending from Groundsy. Wants to say a few things.
Yeah, just for every channel that this goes out on, we'll share the link for the story behind this, for the link to donate. And please follow us on Instagram, on TikTok and Facebook at Barcelona Lions Rugby. And we'll be posting everything about the story up until the cycle ride, and then daily posts as the cycle ride goes on, just to keep up the familiarity. So like, subscribe, share the story, get the word out as much as you can. Make sure everyone involved in the rugby community and elsewhere who knows and understands these values gets visibility of this and shares, and we can raise as much money as possible.
And if you're in Barcelona on the 9th of May and anywhere near Flaherty's and you fancy buying 3 old, tattered, battered men a pint for their journey, that would be much appreciated too.
Yes, love it. So thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Thijs, Rick, Jack/Groundsy for coming. It's been awesome. Good luck with your training.
Thank you, mate.
And we're going to go out for some drinks, I assume tonight, maybe tomorrow. And the 9th of May, then we will be seeing each other again. So thanks so much for coming. Goodbye.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for having us.